Hello, everybody. This is Herb Halstead with Jackson Graphics and Big Twin Life. And I'm really kind of excited today because um, I have put the finishing touches, I think, on a new feature for our website that I've really been working hard on and trying to get the way I want it. And kind of had the wind taken out of my sails because a couple of other people in this space had just come out with a tool that does this, and I almost didn't even finish it because I was kind of thinking, well, if they've got it, why am I doing it? But after a couple of weeks of thinking about it, I decided, it's great to have those tools, and it's wonderful. I may even use those tools from time to time myself still, but I still wanted to give my users a place to accomplish this task within the workflow at DTF Graphics. So I went ahead and dusted it off and finished it so that we could add this ability to our users. And I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans right now and tell you what it is. We have finally gotten our halftone tool the way I like it. So we've had the ability to take semi-transparent pixels and do a halftone conversion on your image to mitigate that aspect of it, but this is different. This is a completely different animal. This is a full-blown halftone algorithm for your image, and there's some adjustment you can do to it, but we tried to keep it within some parameters that we felt were safe, and so we kind of built the tool around what we think that final halftone image should look like. So while some tools out there might give you more fine adjustment, I think what we've got is a good solid compromise for people to get the halftones out done well without having to know a bunch of mumbo jumbo and graphics art software lingo and stuff like that. So all right, without further ado, let's get into how we use this tool. First of all, you're going to get into it by the single upload part of our website. We have where you can make a gang sheet, but we also have DTF by size, and it's the same thing as this order individual DTF transfers button. It's the same exact little interface, just two different buttons. Some people think of it like I want to get a DTF by size, and some people think of it as I need to order an individual image. So we kind of added both those buttons for both the way people think. First thing is going to ask you is the film type, and right now we only have the one film type that we include in our system. We have more coming, but for now it's just this one, so just hit continue. Now if you scroll down, everything's the same. You're going to browse to pick up your image, and then once you have that, you can pick to trim excess space, and this is if there's extra canvas outside of your pixel area. And it'll analyze this, and it'll analyze it for things like semi-transparent pixels, for the floating backgrounds, those kinds of things, and also for size. And you'll notice right here that it says our image is oversized, and that's probably because if Affinity on its default, when it exports PNGs, it does not include the DPI metadata, so it assumes 72 or 96. I can do the math, but I'm not sure what it is. That's okay. We're going to let it come on in. Let it do its thing. Now it's taking a little longer because it thinks it's a really big image, but that's okay. Again, we can get around those issues with our interface. So let's let it do its thing and let it upload and do all of its checks and processes, because it's now resizing it because it thought it was too big. So it's now got it down to 13.35 square, and that's fine for now. Now, along with this halftone tool, we've now added the ability for you to change the size of your image. Now you notice just now that flashed red, that means it's picked up a background, and we don't want to deal with the background. When you're doing halftone images do not do the background removal process. Just clear that right there, and that'll get rid of that. Now we come down to this size box, and I'm going to put in 12, and it will proportionally change the height, and then I'm going to pick apply size. Okay, now it's telling me it's back down to 12 by 12. That's good. All right, so here is our image down to 12 by 12. Now I'm going to hit the make halftone button, and it's going to take me through. I do not want to clear those. I'll make the halftone. All right, so when I do that, it'll take me through some steps. First step is to pick the color of the shirt. This is the color you're going to knock out. We're assuming right now we've got a black t-shirt, so I'm going to pick over here in the darkest area I can visually see and pick this black. And then I'm going to hit next. And it's going to ask me for the lines per inch, the angle, and the minimum dot. We've messed with these and messed with these and messed with these, and we think right now this is the best setting that we have default. So I'm going to encourage you to leave it here. You can change these if you want, but this is what we think is best. Now we also have this option here where you can apply this to the whole image, which will take all the color in here and apply the halftone effect, or you can go to the near picked color and it'll only do, for this instance, since we picked the black, it'll only halftone the black stuff. But usually we want to do the whole image, so let's do that. Now let's generate a preview. Okay, so it has knocked out that color, and we can turn on the shirt so we can see what it's doing. Now this is a preview, so it's got kind of this gritty, like a grid style moire pattern on it. Don't worry about that. What you're trying to look at is the value of the image that's remaining. So you can still see all that detail in there, and you can increase this effect if you want. You can decrease it. And then what you do is, once you are happy with that, how that's going, and you can turn it off, you can hit finalize, and it will go ahead and apply the halftone. Now remember that gridded moire effect that was in the preview, that is no longer in here. You do not see that anymore. So you can zoom in and you can see the halftone. And this is going to get plenty, and you can turn the preview on so you can see how much the t-shirt's going to shine through. So it's going to shine through really nice, but again, it's going to give you all that breathability in there. And still looks like a really hot image. So there it is, our Make Halftone tool, and you can at this point either add it to your card or export it to a gang sheet. Now I'll tell you a little trick. If you export it to the gang sheet right now, what it'll do, if you go to My Designs, it will now save it to your My Designs library. So you don't have to use it into a gang sheet to do the export to gang sheet, but what it will do is make a design on file for you. So now when you log it back in, this is here. So that's a little kind of Easter egg. But then again, from this point, you could add it to the cart, go to your cart and add more and all those things you need to do and get that thing ordered. All right, so I also want to take a look at what happens when you choose the other style of halftoning. So before, we picked a color and we used the overall image style of halftoning, so that halftoning effect went across the whole image. We can also do it where it only affects the color that you choose, that you picked. So in this case, we picked the black for the t-shirt. We're going to hit next, And instead of going to pick whole image, we're going to leave it at near picked color. And when we generate the preview, you will already notice there's more color, more objects, more spots, more ink shown. And that's because the halftone is only affecting the black part. Now, we can increase the intensity of that, and we are now pulling out some of that detail. So if we do a zoom, we can see that we are getting some more of the shirt color to pop through in some more of these areas. And if we go even further, we can start seeing it affect even more of the image. And we can always turn the shirt on to kind of see what it looks like to us when we do that. So let's kind of get a mental picture of that versus if we left it all the way down to 0. The image does look a little more rich in this case. The colors look like they're, more vibrant. So again, turn off the shirt color, you can see where we're pulling it away. I have been playing a little bit with this, and I think about 10% on most of the images that we've messed with is the sweet spot. If we turn the shirt off, it's still pulling away even more of the color, but you are still getting some of your nice solids still there. So you can play with that, of course. Let's bring it up to 15, and let's see kind of what that looks like. And you can see it's pulling even more of that black away. If we turn on our shirt color, it still has a rich look, almost a paintbrush effect now with what we've pulled out. So we're going to finalize this, and we are going to export it to our gang sheet library. And so now when we go to our designs, this was the original image that we brought in, and you can see it's pulling out a lot of the shirt color in the letters, and this one is not. And you can clearly see the difference down in here, how much more of the image is showing in this area especially. And then if you just look at the thumbnails in the My Designs, you can see that the first one we did is definitely a more subdued look, more of the black is coming through, and the second one's more of a bright look. So it's up to you which method you choose based on the image that you want to have as the outcome. And so we've kind of given you both. Just remember, there's a trade-off with breathability. The whole image method gives you more breathability than the nearest color neighbor process. So there you have it.